Hey, welcome back to Growth Galaxy, where we don't just talk love and relationships, we dive into the real psychology behind what makes people connect, stay, and grow together. Now today, we're peeling back the curtain on something that's not just fascinating, it's honest, a little raw, and definitely viral worthy. We're talking about men, and not just any men. We're talking about men who have found themselves deeply, emotionally, and often unexpectedly, in love with an older woman. Now, if you're here, maybe you are that older woman, or maybe you're someone who's just curious. Maybe you've noticed something different in how he talks to you, the way he says certain things that feel a little deeper, a little more intentional. You're not imagining it. Because there are words, men say, very specific words that they don't just throw around. They don't say them lightly. And when those words are said to an older woman, they carry a different kind of weight. It's not the same as when they're dating someone younger. It's not about infatuation. It's about respect, admiration, and something a little deeper. Something that says, I'm here for more than just the surface. So today, we're going to step into the world of what those words really are. Not in bullet points, but through real, honest conversation. And by the end of this video, if a man has ever said any of these things to you, especially in the way we're about to explore, it just might mean you've captured his heart in a way even he didn't expect. Let's start with the truth. When a man falls for an older woman, he doesn't fall the same way he would when he's younger, or when he's dating someone his age or younger. It's not as impulsive. It's not about games. It's not about conquest. There's something different in the air, something quieter, but stronger. Older women carry life. They carry experience. They carry emotional clarity. And the men who fall for them often aren't prepared for how deeply it'll affect them, because suddenly he's not just infatuated, he's seen. And he's seeing someone who knows herself, who doesn't need him, but chooses him. That changes everything. So the words he uses start to reflect that. And the first thing you'll notice is he begins to speak with more care. He asks things like, "How was your day?" And he really listens. But more than that, there are little moments when he says things like, "I admire the way you," and he pauses because he means it. He's not just throwing compliments to get something. He's trying to tell you, you move differently, and it affects him. He might say, "You make me think differently." Now think about that. That's not a phrase men throw around. It's vulnerable, it's revealing, and it's something you'll hear only when a man is starting to let you into the deeper places he usually keeps guarded. There's something about being with an older woman that challenges his patterns. She doesn't need validation from him, so when she gives it, it means something. And he starts to mirror that back. He starts to say things that show emotional availability, emotional risk. And most men don't do that unless they've already fallen. Now here's the difference most people don't talk about. Attraction is easy, it's instant. But connection, deep connection, that's earned. And with an older woman, he knows he can't just show up with charm. He's got to show up as a man. Not a boy, not a smooth talker, a man. So he starts to say things that reflect not just how he feels about you, but how he sees himself with you. He'll say things like, "I feel calm when I'm with you." That sounds so simple. But trust me, that's a confession. Most men live with silent pressure, the need to perform, to compete, to be enough. And when he says he feels calm with you, what he's really saying is, "I feel safe here. I don't have to pretend here. I can let go here." You might hear him say something like, "I've never talked to anyone the way I talk to you." Again, that's not surface talk. That's a man realizing he's been given permission to be emotionally honest, something he may have never experienced in a relationship before, especially if he's been in dynamics where he felt he had to protect, lead, fix, but never reveal. That's what's so powerful about being loved by an older woman. She creates space, not from a place of insecurity, but from a place of self-trust. And that creates emotional gravity. Men can't resist it once they feel it. And once they feel it, their language starts to shift. They don't just compliment your appearance. They speak to your presence, your intelligence, your influence on their life. When a man says, "You've changed the way I see relationships," that's a man who's not just thinking in the moment, he's thinking in legacy. Now, one of the most touching and revealing things a man will say when he truly loves an older woman is this: "I learn from you." That's not a power play. That's admiration. That's him honoring what you've lived through, what you know, and how much he values your insight. You see, in many relationships, especially ones that are more superficial, men feel like they have to be the one teaching, guiding, leading. But when he's with an older woman who carries life experience, that dynamic shifts. And for a man who's emotionally mature enough to embrace it, that shift feels like coming home. When he says, "You make me want to grow," that's not flirtation. That's love. That's a man who sees in you the person he wants to become more himself with. That's rare, and it's beautiful. He'll start asking your opinion about things he never used to talk about with other partners. Things like family, legacy, finances, regrets. He'll open up about fears he usually hides, and he'll use phrases like, "I've never told anyone this before." That's the kind of intimacy words can reveal when the love is real. As the bond deepens, his words begin to stretch into the future, not in a way that pressures, but in a way that includes. That's a huge difference. He'll start saying things like, "When we go there," or "I want you to meet," or "I can see us doing." And every time he says "we," it's a quiet promise. He's not just planning his life anymore. He's imagining it with you in it. Now, this isn't about fairy tales or fast-tracked romance. Older women don't fall for that. But it's about consistency, follow-through, real partnership. He might even say things like, "I respect how you live your life." That's one of the most powerful phrases a man can give, because respect, real respect, is rarer than attraction. And when it's expressed toward an older woman, it means he's fallen for who you are, not just what you do for him. You'll also notice he stops trying to impress you, not because he doesn't care, but because he does. Because now, it's not about approval, it's about authenticity. He's not trying to be someone else. He wants to be himself, with you. And you'll hear that when he says things like, "I can be myself with you." That is not something men say unless they mean it, unless they trust you, unless they love you. Sometimes the most telling words are the quietest ones, the ones that slip out in the quiet moments, like when he whispers, "I missed you," even though it's only been a day, or when he says, "I didn't know I needed this until I met you." Those aren't just romantic lines, those are emotional truths, and they're usually followed by actions, consistency, presence, vulnerability. He doesn't just say, "I love you." He says, "I trust you." And in many ways, that's even more important, because love without trust fades. But trust, that's the foundation. If a man has ever looked at you and said, "You're different," in that slow, quiet way, he means it. He's telling you you've disrupted his pattern, broken through his walls, and made him see relationships in a completely new light. So if you're listening to this right now and recognizing those words, those phrases, in your own life, know this: you're not just loved, you're seen, you're honored, and you've created a space in his life that's deeper than attraction. Older women have this incredible ability to anchor a man's heart, not because they're trying to, but because they've already done the work in themselves. And when a man recognizes that, when he starts to say these words in this way, he's already in deep. Thanks for spending this time with me here on Growth Galaxy. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And as always, take care of your mind, protect your peace, and never settle for a love that speaks in silence when you deserve to be told the truth. With words, with actions, with everything in between. See you in the next one.